Okay, good morning, you beautiful human beings, guys. I started the show probably about 3 minutes ago. I don't know, we're just having such a good week. I got my coffee a little bit late and I saw the countdown timer countdown and I just started speaking. I've been having a jaw for the last 2-3 minutes by myself on the show without you guys, so huge apologies for that. I was asking where in the world is everybody at, please drop in the comments, and I was saying where are my comments, so that's a massive my bad from me this morning. Again, we promised December we would be around, we promised the signals would be absolute fire, we promised the shows would be consistent and bankable, and we've obviously delivered there. We will continue to deliver on that promise as we take things to the next level. Now remember, everything that we're currently doing for DVDM markets is for 2024, right? There's all the beta phase, and if you're loving it now, you're absolutely going to love it in 2024, right? There's no better time to become a DVDM markets premium plus client, right? Because again, everything we're doing is basically going to be added by 1000% within premium plus for less than $1 a day. There is no value proposition like what we have here anywhere in the world, guys. There's no signal service, there's no live stream, there's no academy that delivers what we deliver right here at premium plus. There's nothing. I've seen the competitors, I've seen people try, I've seen my own students go out there and try and do the same thing. It's not even close, doesn't even come close, right? So if you want to be part of 2024 and you want to start your 2024 with a bang, this is where it's at. Let us know where in the world you are joining us from. I can see Garvin is with us. I can see Petunia is with us. Now, big shout out to all of those who are already in Premium Plus. I just want to give a shout out to the leaderboard. Currently at the moment, we have Vaynant, Vusi, and Lucky in the top 3 in terms of the most active traders in our Premium Plus category, right? As you guys know, we hit the 500 pips already yesterday morning in Premium Plus. We've delivered 500 pips absolutely free into the environment that allows you to see what the trades are like, to take the trades yourself, and just have absolute ton of value in the Premium Plus area for free, right? After the 500 pips is hit, we then redirect all trades into Premium Plus, including indices, right? The free area doesn't get indices. So as you guys know, we posted yesterday that we obviously have had that trade summary and we've obviously hit those pips. So massive week this week already, and it, you know, we hit this even before Wednesday even happened. Again, if you're part of Premium Plus, then you should be smiling quite a bit because our NZD CAD trade, we woke up this morning to TP2 being hit, right? So that's 70 pips banked, another 50 pips running over and above the 3,700 pips we already have running in the markets, right? So massive well done. If you're not yet a part of Premium Plus, link is down below. You can click anywhere within the free environment. You can see anything that's grayed out. There's even in the academy area or the classroom area an easy tutorial of how to get into Premium Plus. Super easy, super simple. Okay. So in terms of what's happening in the world, what do we need to know? So for those of you who've looked at the markets this morning, you may be wondering and asking yourself, Dane, what has happened to indices, right? Indices absolutely tanked this morning at about, last night at about 9 p.m., right? We saw US 100 drop off a cliff. We saw US 30 drop off a cliff. We saw S&P 500 drop off a cliff. And I spent a little bit of time diving into the news and having a look, is this political? Was this fundamental? You know, was this geopolitical? You know, what is the reason for this dive off? And I can't seem to find anything that gives a clear answer in any one of those three. However, if we look at gold, we look at some other currency pairs, right, we see that this isn't dollar driven, right? This is mostly Wall Street driven, right? Stocks and shares are basically taking a bit of a hit. Now, I believe this is part of a greater setup for what we're about to see CPE Friday, right? As I explained to you guys, that the perfect storm situation would be that we see stocks, commodities, Wall Street slow down a little bit, because I do expect that stronger, or that weaker dollar tomorrow, right? Now, as you guys know, on Fridays, I generally don't trade just because Fridays don't seem to be worth it for me, for my time and for a trading perspective. But for those of you who are part of Premium Plus, over and above being this afternoon live in Dollars for Lunch, we will be trading that last key set of data for the year tomorrow afternoon. So you'll get a complete understanding of all the data that's happened till now, this data and why it's so important for the next quarter of the next year, right? It will basically seal the deal from an inflation perspective over what the Fed will be doing. And this will give you great insight as to what's going to be happening in the rest of the world, because you must understand what happens in the US there is a ripple effect to the rest of the world, right? When the US starts to pause interest rates, that slowly starts to trickle down to the rest of the world. If you're here in Southern Africa and you've got a variable interest rate, right, you've been struggling over the last 2 years on mortgage repayments, over car repayments, over credit cards. These things have cost you more if you had a flexible interest rate. Right, so it's very, very important for planning, for business purposes, that you also understand these things. So we will be live tomorrow in Premium Plus for that particular news event. So outside of that, let's just have a look at the markets really quickly this morning. Absolutely tanked from the charts from a S&P 500 heat map perspective, right? The only major company listed is Google with any sort of slight gain, 1.13%, but blood in the water across the board. Tesla almost down 4% in the aftermath of what happened last night. So what happened last night, right? Let's break that down. I'd like to start off this morning by talking about gold as we move deeper into the markets, because there's some really, really nice opportunities I want to speak about on gold before we actually issue it out as a trade. So what you need to understand, and ignore, some of the trades I got running in the background. These are all test and feeler trades. There's a bunch of things that happen when these trades get activated or they run into profits. It's one of the ways we generate market opportunities. I get an alert, the trade is in profit or trade is in a loss, etc. And it helps us with getting into entries, right? So don't worry about that too much. And I'll teach you guys in Premium Plus how to do a similar thing a little bit later in time. But what we need to understand on gold, and I just want to maybe look at only this moment in time, right? So I just want to look at, let's call it the CPI movement, right? Or the movement we saw on Friday in terms of the price of gold. Again, that weaker dollar really fueling the price of gold here. And we've seen the spike to the top side. This is a 30-minute time frame. But what I want to show you guys really quickly is just the fact that from yesterday's low, right? Now, obviously we had a sell bias yesterday. We banked a decent amount of pips, about 190 pips off of a sell yesterday. And I just want to show you guys really quickly. I know there's a lot of lines and things happening here, but just look at for a moment this bull impulse here. And then we've got this market breaking down, right? And the reason we were breaking down, the reason we were selling yesterday off the price of gold was for a couple of reasons, but primarily the fact that we had not yet corrected or at least retraced that bull move as yet, right? So we needed to correct and pull down off that bull move. We've now done that. Okay, we've made a 78.6. There is still a possibility of an 88.2 push, but for most of the intents and purposes, 78.6 is a deep enough retracement. The 61.8 is obviously the golden retracement. 78.6 is obviously decent, and the 88.2 is the deepest we can potentially go. Now we've got some market structure here, but I also want to point out the fact that we, from the 18th of December, had this market structure that was building up, right? And we were looking at that potential point of failure there. We saw markets press up, break back down, sort of reject off that level, but this still stays valid. Now, if you look at where we are now, we try to break out of both this diagonal, right? Bear movement as well as this diagonal bull movement. We've been trapped in between these two zones, right? We try to get out the downside of that area. We failed. So I'm very, very curious today what we end up seeing here. Now, I've got a key level, right? If you aren't in Premium Plus and you still would like to benefit somehow, right? You want to then highlight primarily on your chart. You want to have a look at this 2038. So $2,038 to an ounce of gold. That's the key level you want to look at, right? So now prices start to punch through that, right? There will be an immediate struggle to get through this diagonal resistance here. But I think once gold punches through that, that's where we're going to have a lot of fun. Now, I would like that not to happen today. And you may say, well, Dane, what do you mean? You don't want that to happen today? What do you mean? Again, if we look at Friday as a perfect storm situation, right? I have a prediction over what will likely happen on Friday. And remember, this is not predicting the market. It's not like these Instagram traders going live beforehand and calling out buys and sells and half the room blows their accounts because those are idiots. It's not that, right? What we're looking at is past data to predict what could happen in the future with high likelihood and taking risk into account and then dealing with it as the data comes out. Not predicting, not rubbing a ball, not renting a Ferrari and driving around and saying, hey, this is what the market's going to do. None of that BS, right? So based on what's happened in the past, there's a high likelihood for what might happen on Friday. And I see a perfect storm situation. But for that perfect storm situation to play out, I would like to see gold pull a little bit lower, right? I'd like to see a better value proposition on gold, slightly lower. I would like if gold reached for that 88.2, slightly lower, just round about where my finger is right there. That'll be the 88.2, and that'll be at about 20,000. Let's say $2,026.50, right? That's kind of the ideal value proposition, because then if we get the weaker dollar on Friday, which is what the expectation is, and I'll break that down in full in Premium Plus in that live show, as we trade that live, that will then have a massive opportunity for a rebound and then a massive, massive bull run. So that's ideally what I'm looking for, and that's where my optimism sits. Now, in terms of the US 30, in terms of NASDAQ, right, you'll see if you have a look at this one, this is US 30. If you have a look at this, that is NASDAQ, right? Very, very similar. And we're just obviously focusing on what happened last night right there. So at 8 o'clock, everything was fine. The second we ticked on 9, it looks like all hell broke loose over there, right? Very, very similar thing, almost identical for US 30. And I'm pretty sure the exact same thing is going to have played out on the S&P 500. Now, there's going to be some market opportunities here. We're obviously looking at this little bit of a corrective move here, this little bit of a tail that's forming on both of them, and trying to see if there's going to be any clues there as to when that tail might obviously break. Now, again, we already have a bull structure here. I think if anything, you know, this type of move we generally see as a precursor after the fact. Once we have a big move, we see markets correct, right? I don't think this is going to correct to a known fib level. The very likelihood here is that it will sort of do this and then correct even further down. So for those of you who want to potentially catch a sell side move, NAS looks to be a little bit of a cleaner market structure. If you go into a minute time frame and you just zoom out a little bit, it's a lot of data to process, right? It's going to be hard to kind of scale on your screen in the same way. And you might want to just look at, right, we've seen multiple breaks here. I'm going to put this here. It's not going to be ideal to work on because obviously scaled so small. But NAS has gone through a series of these little moves, right? Very, very trend-like moves, and then breaks, right? Now the breaks aren't substantial, right? If you took the break there, that's not going to yield any profit. And the same there, hasn't yielded any profit, but these are all early hours of the morning type trades, right? They're not meant to make any sort of massive trend changes or any directional changes. One just wants to look at this. Now, for those who are scalping, for those who are looking at, you know, you've got time, you can spend time in the markets, you'll find there's a lot of opportunities like this in the market whereby this is a non-profitable scalping solution in the sense that, you know, if you're looking at just break-in structures, this is not going to yield you a lot of money, but it will keep you fairly active, right? You can trade the price, the spread price away and make some money on the buys and sells, or you can trade the trend. As it trends higher, you keep buying. As it trends lower or sideways, you buy higher, buy low, sell high. But ultimately what I'm trying to get at for this morning is that if we see a break this morning on London Open, 8 o'clock, 7:30, etc., if we see a bigger break towards the downside, it may be worth it. Now, just caution, right? There has been breaks in the past, in the sense that at 5, just before 6 this morning, there was a break to the downside, but we would be monitoring these structures just to look for a better break here. Alternatively, the easier method here is just to apply 2 moving averages, just to understand when that trend actually breaks. And you can apply something short like a 12, and I'll make this slightly larger for you. There's just a bonus tip for those of you who want to understand when a trend actually breaks. And here we'll do maybe a 38. Okay, let's just do that in a different color. Actually, let's keep it 50. Let's just keep that red or pink or whatever. Okay. So what this will do is, as long as your shorter moving average, right, is trending above your longer one, right, you can kind of scalp your buys. The second this starts to intersect each other, that'll be a range. And you can see there, that'll be the first false kind of signal, if you will, would be with these two guys crossed each other, right? That would mean you might have got caught into a sell there, you know, and it would have been, you know, hopefully a break-even situation. But what we would be looking for this morning is where these two break each other. So where blue crosses pink, and that'll just signal a trend change. So if you're not sure if a trend's changed, that's a really simple way, right? Add yourself a moving average. There are the settings. Everything's standard for the first one, blue, no issues. add yourself a second one, and you can even go as far as, even on the pinker one, you can go and make that an exponential, right? So if you just want a sharper, more clean average, right? There's the settings, 50, make it pink or red or whatever the case may be. So that's just an easy way to identify a trend. It's a super simple technique known by thousands, millions of people probably, and just a really simple way of looking at trend. Now, I just want to talk about Bitcoin as well. For those of you who were in the shows previously, there was quite a few people that messaged me personally and commented about the price of Bitcoin. I spoke about Bitcoin heading into this ceiling level, right? That this ceiling is part of a bigger diagonal triangle, if you guys remember that. Let's just get a scale that works for us. There we go. Okay. I think everybody can see that. And so I'm talking about this rising market structure here, right? Now, I spoke about the fact that Bitcoin may materialize or may start to, let's just get a nice, scaling is a little bit hard because that bull movement, but Bitcoin may end up breaking out. I think I said between 50, I think we were on the hourly time frame if I'm not mistaken. Let's just go there. Sorry, it's really hard to scale. It doesn't really want to play ball here. But I believe we said between 50 and 70% of its formation. So it's not yet quite at 50, right? But it started the breakout process already, right? Where we see, you know, more and more buyers getting into play, but also want to be cautious of the fact that we obviously have seen this in the past where Bitcoin's broken out there. So I spoke about the fact that $43,400 to a coin is kind of that key level. We've broken out and we're sitting back above here. Now, the key thing to note about this, and I'm going to try and wrap this up really quickly, is two things. If Bitcoin fails to hold or maintain this price, this 43,300 level, right, it will fall back into structure and it will fall back to support, right, which will be, you know, plus minus $3,000 south of the current position, right? So nice fall there. Definitely will cover spread, definitely will make you some money there on that falling of that price. If it maintains price above this level, then what we want to wait for, again, is Friday. If we receive that weaker dollar, that will fuel a lot more sort of positivity into the price of crypto as a whole. And generally, Bitcoin's the one that leads that pack. Whenever there's any sort of optimism, and even just, you know, opposite's true too. Whenever there's fear in the crypto market, Bitcoin tends to suffer first. But in this particular case, it may line up in the perfect storm situation that we're sitting on a good support. We know that 40,000, if we zoom out really quickly on a daily time frame, you guys know the drill. On a $40,000 to a coin, that was our key resistance level. We've broken under that, and we're in a bullish triangle right now, right? So everything from price action is pointing out the fact that Bitcoin should continue to rise, should continue to do the most. I just want to point out, I'm seeing on some of my alerts here that we are getting some positive buying movements on gold. So just keep an eye out for these levels. Again, if you're not part of Premium Plus, if it does break, we will issue this into Premium Plus, provided all the trades are, you know, we're happy with all the levels. But that $2,038, that's kind of where you want to mark out, 2,038 and 40 cents, right? 2,038 and 40, kind of where you want to mark out there, right? Just to make sure you don't miss it. If it starts to rally, you want to be a part of that. So a lot happening in the world. I've obviously spoken way too much this morning. I can't believe I started a whole show without even starting the video feed. I actually haven't even turned on most of my lights. There we go. There's the other lights, right? Well, listen, it's Thursday. We've killed it already in the market. It's okay. It's holiday season. We're taking it easy. I trust you guys are enjoying it. As always, we always love your feedback and everything you have to say about what it is we're doing. Ideally, we want to make sure this product is best suited for you in 2024. Now, I know there's a lot of people asking about, you know, the messages. They're missing some of the information on the social area. Please, guys, go into your phone, into your app's permissions, right? Notification permissions, and go and allow school to show you notifications, right? If you've downloaded the app, SKOOL on the iOS or the Play Store, you sign up using the same details you used to register when you use the link down below, and download the app, then enable notifications on your phone. That time, every time we've posted, it'll pop up as a notification for you to be able to access. That's mostly important. Now, we are thinking about other ways to deliver this information to you, and we are considering for Premium Plus a SMS and service that literally sends you out an SMS when a trade arrives. And in addition to that, we're going to be offering for Premium Plus clients absolutely free a copier service, meaning every time we issue a trade, if you would like that trade copied directly to your live account, that'll be available to you in the new year, right? So if you love the trades, you love the signals, but you may be a little bit busy, this is going to be a solution perfectly suited for you. So outside of that, guys, listen, much love always. There is some US fundamentals today, as Garwin obviously mentioned. We will be covering that live in the Dollars for Lunch show. If you want to be part of that, Premium Plus, link is down below. Smash the link, get yourself the best service that's out there for less than $1 a day, hands down, right? Outside of that, guys, listen, much love, and until I see you all a little bit later, you know the drill. Be safe, trade safe. Goodbye.